Hello, hello, hello. This is Gresh from the I Am CEO podcast, and I have a very special guest on the show today. I have Archen of Hublot. Archen, it's awesome to have you on the show.
Hey Gresh, it's very nice to be part of the show. Been reading and learning a lot from I Am CEO, and it's been quite a journey to from reading a lot from I Am CEO and to being part of the show. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. You've been reading, you've been contributing as well too, has been featured in our posts, and now you're here on the podcast. So super excited to have you on. And before we jumped into the actual interview, I wanted to read a little bit more about Archen so you can hear about all these awesome things that he's doing. And Archen is an engineer turned marketing professional. Archen has led marketing teams on various B2B marketing projects and has experience in scaling product demands to many folds for startups and small to medium-sized enterprise businesses. Archen, are you ready to speak to the IMCO community?
Oh yes, a big hello to the entire community.
Awesome. Hello to you, Archen. And before we jumped in, I wanted to hear a little bit more on your story and what led you to do all the awesome things that you're doing and doing now.
Sure. So I think like I like to mention it this way. I'm an engineer turned marketer. So back in the day, I got my first job that was into network management, which was on the more on the communication engineering side. So I was working with this big uh, telecom service provider, and uh, that actually was bringing in the high speed internet into the country, and which actually led to having access to fast speed internet, and that brought me in access with YouTube. So I started watching a lot of YouTube videos, and that landed me up watching a lot of Steve Jobs videos. Uh, so and one video led to another, and I was actually I've started to think that okay, uh, this is what even I would like to do. I would like to create a buzz about the product. I would like to if I know a good product that's really good for its user, I would want it to bring it in front of the users. So that thought led me to switch my career from core telecom engineering to uh, marketing. But the question was, how should I get in? So then I happened to surf through all the companies that were out there in the market who were allowing someone from a different background than business administration uh, to work in the marketing. And I landed across a company that was working with a telecom product. So that actually was the entry point for me, that I knew a little bit about the product, and I wanted to explore the field of marketing. But the first question I was very much afraid to answer was, what have I done on my own to sort of prove a point that I can market a product? So and that was the era of on free online education resources and courses and stuff. So I enrolled myself onto the best and free available online course, and then I started creating presentations and started brewing ideas and stuff. That actually helped me get into my first job as a marketer, and I think that was when I worked as a marketer, but I also learned the entire game of marketing, product marketing, and business administration. So yeah, that's how I started my career, and from there on, one thing led to another, and I started enjoying the work that I did, and that's how I landed up working here at a startup as the head of marketing, and yeah, I think in last 1 year, whatever ups and downs that I've seen, I think it's a good time to be a marketing personnel, who has actually seen the pandemic phase, and the industry that I work with is highly sensitive of of such things, because we essentially dealt with the events industry. And so I was able to experience the entire depression to the growth cycle that we did. And I think that was an amazing experience. And I wish through this particular conversation I'm able to let out that experience to everyone, and people, and if it helps it even one person, that would be great.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And kind of goes right back to what you were talking about with the whole entire idea of marketing is if you have a really great product or service, you really want to let as many people know about it. And just as you said, sometimes in our experiences, we want to get that opportunity to kind of let people know about the lessons that we learned and things that we can kind of give to the community so that we can learn back. So I love how those things kind of go hand in hand. So I know you touched a little bit on what you all are doing and kind of that the event space. Could you take us through a little bit more about Hublot and tell us what exactly you're doing to support the clients you work with?
Yeah, sure. So when I joined Hublot, Hublot was into providing a software that would help enterprises and event organizers manage the entire event through creating so single dashboard that would create a website for them, an application that people would use to network, an application that organizer would use to manage the check-ins, checkouts, and that was the product pretty much there. And as we entered into the month of February 2019, uh, we all know that unfortunately the outbreak of the virus had hit parts of the world, and we started seeing a dip in the business. And that is when a few of our clients actually were concerned about their plans with whatever events they had. So our first attempt was to just come up with a solution that would serve their needs, and then we realized that okay, it might take the situation to normalize a little longer. So as a team, the entire leadership team got along, and they decided that we should create a virtual event platform at that point in time. And so I think our product team, our tech team got along, and within 15 days we had the beta version ready, which was able to serve the purpose of hosting a virtual event. And to what I remember, I think this I've throughout my life I've heard this thing that necessity is the mother of all inventions.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a necessity. My product team did a wonderful job in coming up with the product within 15 days. The next was the role of marketing to be able to drive right sort of opportunity, right sort of business, and make it available to the market. The same concept, which goes back 5 years back. What led me to sort of get into the field of marketing, to if you have a right product, you should successfully be able to bring it to right people. So I think uh, that is when we actually started stepping into the foot of our consumers, and we started to understand what would be their uh, you know uh, thinking cycles. What all stuff would they be going through. I had an event, it got cancelled, what should I do? I was planning an event. Now that no physical events are going to happen for next 2, 3, 4, 5 months, so how else can I, keep my community engaged? People were facing issues with a lot of video conferencing softwares because of the kind of traffic that was coming in. Plus, webinars were never a solution to replicate the live physical event networking experience and stuff. So we sort of understood all that people around in the market would be concerned and cared about. And then we started actually putting out the bit of knowledge, information, and stuff in the market, and that got stuck with the target group that we had. And yeah, from there on, I think we are now, uh, we have grown multifolds. We've done we have served to more clients than we did before pandemic. So I think that way, as a team, we are successful in creating the right product, and then being able to deliver it to right people at right time.
Yeah, that's what comes down to, kind of being able to kind of be successful in the business. And I think I feel like the word of the year, if not close to the word of the year, should be the word pivot, because a lot of times, because of these disruptions happen, and as you mentioned, the necessity is the mother of invention. A lot of times you have to make those shifts and changes and re-evolve or reinvent yourself or your business. And it sounds like you guys have definitely been able to do that. So I wanted to ask you for what I call your secret sauce, and this could be for you personally or the business or a combination of both. But what do you feel kind of sets you apart or makes you unique?
Right. So yeah, I think I did a lot of introspection and retrospective analysis on what actually worked for us, because and why I did this was I actually wanted to know if at all in future any such situation comes in, people should not say that what these guys did was a fluke, right? So yeah, so I think the secret sauce was, or I should say, that there were two to three things that we did right. So the first thing was, the benefit of being a startup is you have high agility, right? So you can take decisions quickly. You can mend your team the way you want them to mend, and come up with the answers. So the first secret sauce, either you are a startup or a mid scale business or a big conglomerate, have that if you're a big enterprise, have that one uh, you know uh, uh, emergency team that can function or think like a startup. So say for example, if you are a 100,000 people company, it is difficult to incorporate a huge change, or it is difficult to come up with a one product that would work wonders. So I think what people can do is they can create a group of 10, 15, 20 people who can actually work on that pilot project, and can try and execute it. Whereas startups and SMBs are already of a size that they can try to be as much agile as possible in terms of their execution. So that is number one. Number two is, most startups or most SMB companies always fear the fact that their competition, which might be a huge enterprise, would always have deep pockets. You spend X amount of money as part of your marketing expense, they would have money. They can outspend you in that part, right? So what you need to do is you need to outthink them in terms of marketing. And I think that's one thing that my team back at Hublot did right in terms of marketing, is we got into the shoes of our target audience, and we produce information and content that they would search in next 2 to 3 months, right? So otherwise it's all chasing game. You're putting out the repetitive, redundant information that's already out there. People who are already doing well on the digital platforms, with which large followers, page rankings up high on Google, and there's fewer chance for you to outperform them. So you need to outsmart them. You need to work on things that your target audience would search for in next quarter, or next 6 months or next year. So I think that is the secret sauce number two. And the third thing that I thought that really worked for us was, we were somehow together were able to keep the morale of the entire team high, because uh, it's not a job of one or two people to turn it around. So you need people who would believe that things would go right, and they would be uh, you know uh, paid off either by recognition, or by being part of the journey that you are promising them. So they need to believe in you, and you need to be empathetic of their situation. And I think that was the third thing that I believe was my secret sauce. So yeah, I think these three were the secret sauce, if you ask me. As per my analysis, the agility, uh, ability to outthink your competition, and keeping up your team's motivation up high.
Nice. I absolutely love that agility, being able to kind of, be very strategic and crafty, so to speak. Scrappy might even be a great word, especially if you don't have all of the resources. You can be a lot more strategic and get into the shoes of the people that you're trying to connect with. And then, as you said, we sometimes forget that human aspect of business, and especially during disruptive times like now, you have to really be able to understand that morale could be low, but you have to really figure out how you can kind of dial in, have that personal feeling during especially difficult times, but really any time, so that you can continue to kind of make sure that you are creating a great environment for yourself and your team. So I love those examples of secret sauce that you guys are able to implement. And I wanted to switch gears a little bit, and I wanted to ask you for what I call a CEO hack. So this could be like an app, a book, or a habit that you have, but what's something that makes you more effective and efficient?
Okay, that's quite a tough one, but I think what I have learned from my CEO, the guy with whom I work, is that you should always have two things. First, the ability to get a Hawkeye view of things, right? To be able to see the bigger picture, and then take right decisions based on excess of that. The second thing is, most of the times, and this is one thing that I've seen, that generally, uh, either CEOs or people miss out on doing, is that what you so there are certain parts that you would be good with, right? uh, if you're someone with a business background or a management background, you would know the basics of marketing and sales, right? But when you are managing an entire company, or an entire team, uh, people look up to you for directions, right? So it's like you are the front, either you're a driver or a navigator, and your team sits back when it comes to direction. So you should know how to go onto the field and actually play yourself, because only then you would be able to sort of guide your entire team in a way that they can independently perform and deliver, function and deliver. So I think that is one hack that I've learned from my colleagues, and try to implement them myself as well.
Nice. I definitely appreciate those hacks and being able to kind of see the forest for the trees, so to speak, and just understand and how important it is to kind of create that direction, because not only does it affect you, it affects, everybody else that's in the car and who you're working with, for lack of a better term. So I wanted to ask you now for what I call a CEO nugget. And this could be a word of wisdom or a piece of advice. It might be something related to marketing, or something, if you were to hop into a time machine, you might tell your younger business professional self.
Oh, okay. So uh, that's again a tough one. But I think if I were to go back uh, 5 years, or say 7 years, I would ask my younger self to not follow what everyone else is, and try to give yourself some time, not be too hard on yourself, and see where you naturally navigate, and end up, because either then or later on you would ultimately end up doing that, which I eventually did from my experience. So that is one thing. And the other thing that I've learned, you know uh, by across throughout my journey, was the fact that you need to have empathy, because as a be it as a marketer or as a salesperson or a CEO, that's most important. And why this is most important is, if you're a salesperson and if you're empathetic towards your buyer's self, then uh, you are able to convince them to buy your solutions or products much easier. If you're a marketer and if you're empathetic, it naturally comes out in your communication, be it visual or otherwise. And that is what people relates quickly with, and you are able to seed trust in their heart. And when it comes to being a CEO, again, if you are empathetic towards your employees, if you're empathetic towards the market, I think it gives you back 10 times than it would otherwise have.
Yeah, I love that, the ability to be able to see yourself and feel yourself in somebody else's shoes, especially if it's somebody that you're trying to target, is such a huge thing. And I often say, if you run your own race, you can't lose. And I think, as you kind of touched on it, so many times we end up running somebody else's race, but once we get back to where we should be in running our race, that's what gives us that opportunity to win. We're not externally focused, we're inwardly focused on what it is that we sometimes already know the answers to. So I love those nuggets. And I know I wanted to ask you my absolute favorite question. And I know, as the head of marketing, you might have a unique perspective on this, but I want to ask you, Archen, what does being a CEO mean to you?
Very interesting anecdote. I would like to narrate if that's fine.
Go for it.
So when I started my career, I was fortunate to have uh, good leaders to whom I could consult. So one fine day, we had, so at that time I was working with a company that had around 300,000 people, as part of the company, and I was just one. So I just went up to him and I said that, sir, whatever work that we're doing it for our CEO. Our CEO has huge incentive to do all these things, because at the end of the year, he's the one who's going to take all the profits and stuff, and we receive our salaries. So how should I work around this idea or this knowledge? And I was told this amazing thing, that he told me, Archan, always consider yourself to be a micro CEO,
Mhm.
right? So being a micro CEO means you are the CEO of the assignments that are given to you. And because you're a micro CEO, probably your incentives might be micro incentives. But when you accomplish them, it's as good as a CEO taking a successful exit from his venture. So you take successful exit from your junior self venture, and then you progress to your senior self venture. And if you do this way, probably you might have an exponential growth in your career. And I think that's what I'm seeing, because it's for me, I believe it's pretty much, I think it's very early for me to be the head of marketing of any company, but it happened because I took things as part of an assignment, where I am the CEO of that particular assignment, and I think that helped me see through whatever projects that I was, part of, and this is one thing that I keep telling to my peers, my colleagues, or my teammates.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it means. Even if you are a CEO, it's your world. Uh, be it whatever, at whatever level of the company, each and every person is a CEO in itself. So yeah, they all contribute well if they think of themselves to be a micro CEO. And that's exactly the reason why I like product marketing, because product marketing deals with not just marketing. It deals with understanding the market, and then connecting with your tech team, making them understand what is actually required in the market, and then you take the finished product out, and then you launch it up. You prep your sales team. Once you have your client, you go and have a word with your client success team, and so you're doing all that a CEO does, but just for that one particular uh, part of the product that you work on.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love that perspective and that definition, because I think so many times and I believe truly the spirit of the podcast and everything we're trying to do is to look at it in different ways. And I think that when you start to take ownership, so to speak, of your project, you start to take ownership of your life. You take ownership, if you happen to be a founder of the company, whatever that might be, whatever ownership might be, it's a certain kind of mentality and way that you approach it. And I love how you talked about really kind of, a lot of times there is a saying, in order to win the year, you have to first win the day. When you win the
Yes,
day, you can win the week. When you win the week, you can start winning the month. And then if you take it bite by bite, you start to see that progression towards where you want to go. And I think so many times we get caught up in trying to win the year when we haven't even won the morning. And when you
absolutely.
have that perspective, it starts to kind of create that upward mobility and that upward movement. So Archen, truly appreciate that. And I appreciate your time even more. What I wanted to do is pass you the mic, so to speak, just to see if there's anything additional you want to let our readers and listeners know. And of course, how best they can get a hold of you and find out about all the awesome things that you're working on.
Well, it was amazing, talking to you. I felt like I'm talking to the entire community, so it was fun. Yeah, that's it. I hope more and more people come up with. It would be great to hear what people liked about the conversation that we just had, and if there is anything they would like to share, I have all my ears, and yeah, I think it's mutually, the knowledge sharing is mutual. So I think I've given my bit, and I'll be waiting for people to sort of give their bit in whatever way they can, and it will be fun to connect with all the viewers and followers of I Am CEO, and look around what they have to say.
Absolutely. And to make it even easier, Archie, we'll have your information in the show notes as well, too, so that people can reach out and connect. And I think that's at the true spirit of, I think, human existence, is the opportunity to get to connect and to share and to uplift and grow together. So I appreciate you for helping us do that today. And I hope you have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, and I appreciate what you're doing with the MCEO. Keep up with that part. We all read it, we all listen to your podcast, and great work. Thank you.
Thank you.